You don't work this time, Streamlabs? Ah. Alright, give it a second. It says it's unstable. We'll give it a second. Make sure everything's working. That's actually part of the reason I usually have a little pre-stream page thing. It's partially so that people have time to go and find the stream. I should get music for that. I should figure out music for that. And also, it's just so I can make sure everything's working. Anyways. Things working now. Things seem to be working now. Oh, Twitch has changed too. I'll have to find out what all these buttons mean on the. Sorry, there's new buttons on like the Twitch streaming dashboard. I'll mess around with those later. I have no idea what manage prediction means. Alright. That's fine. Anyways, where were we? Actually, where were we? Oh, I have extra resin. I don't know if I'm gonna have exactly 20 milliliters of extra resin, and I kind of need 20 milliliters. We want to do a set of fate dice, which is why I'm like, I don't know if we should or not. I don't know if we should do fate dice, or I could do some keycaps or some jewelry, but I think I want to figure that out first, what I want to do with those. I'm actually tempted to do more jewelry than keycaps. I could do some jewelry that has like things in it. I made like a keycap for my dad for Christmas, don't tell him, that has like a whole bunch of like screws and nuts and bolts type things in it, and that might be kind of cool as like a necklace. Not necessarily, or a keychain or a pendant or something. Not necessarily for him, but just in general. And I have some of these kind of like drop necklace sort of shapes. Ah, I stuck my foot in my resin scrap bin. Let me put all of these away. It might be a little bit loud. Just a heads up. But I think we've got this figured out. So I don't need these sitting out here in the way anymore. Plus then I can set my my planner on top of that. Alright, put these away. So I could do like maybe like a drop necklace type thing with that have things in them. Actually, that'd be easy enough to do. I have an idea. Let me grab this. I'm being very coherent right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me grab a couple of things here, cause let's maybe do a couple of like example necklaces, almost like not example, but just some test necklaces. That seems like a fun plan. So for example, let's maybe do a beach one with some sand and some seashells. Got some little tiny seashells. I mean, those wouldn't fit. I have some these little tiny seashells, but those won't fit. I'm thinking these little tiny seashells. So like one of these type ones. One of these type seashells. I think that'd be cute in there. So a little bit of sand, a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of like blue resin. I feel like that could be cute. Put this away. And then, let's see, what else could we put? Well, like I was saying, maybe some like mechanical pieces in one. feel like the round will be good for the beachy sort of one. I think that'd be good for the beachy sort of one. But for the mechanical one, maybe something a little bit more geometric. I think I have something in here, like a square that like turns, kind of rotates. This one has like dirt in it. That one might be good for plant something later. Where is that? I have a shape somewhere. Well, maybe not. Maybe kind of like this flat rectangle. I feel like that might be kind of cute with a whole bunch of nuts and bolts in it. I can see that being kind of cool. Or I could just do a square. I think I like that one. We'll try that. Hopefully things will fit in that, but I think we'll be fine. Oh wait, here it is. Here's the twisty twirly square. You can kind of see in there. See how it twists as it goes down. I feel like that could be kind of cool for the nuts and bolts. I kind of like that one now though. Let's do that. So these only take about 2.5 milliliters each. So that's just 5, and we're gonna need 15 milliliters or so, would be my guess. 15 to 20. It's 5. Let's do some sort of D20. Let's do some sort of just D20, because like I was saying, I can always use more D20s. So let's take 10. So milliliters maybe at the most. So we'll do one of those. Don't know what I'm putting in that yet. I guess we'll figure that out. Hi, Crudstick. I'm good. Finally got my stream to work. My Streamlabs froze. But I think we're good now. I'm just figuring out, I decided on a design for a set of dice, and it means I'm going to have extra resin. So I'm deciding what I want to do with that extra resin. So I'm assuming that I have an extra 15 to 20 milliliters of resin. Actually, I guess this would be 15-ish. Let me just I'll grab one crystal one. We can do some sort of extra, if we have extra resin, we'll put it in there. I guess I could do a different shape, actually. You're going tomorrow to buy a table to start your dice experience? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand. So are you getting like a gaming table? Oh, something to do your resin. Ah, I see. Yeah, something that is useful for doing resin stuff is silicone mats. You can get just like little mats that are silicone, and then cleanup's nice and easy because the resin peels right off of it, like just peels right off, and then also you don't get the table messy. I obviously don't usually. I'm sticking my. I have resin scraps in a bin underneath my table, and I keep stepping in it because it was pulled out a little bit. But yeah, so these are useful if you're doing resin stuff and you don't want to get a mess everywhere. Obviously, I don't care if I get a mess everywhere. Just a second here. Oh man, my scrap bin. There's no chance of keeping the table clean forever. Fair. That's valid. Alright. Let's get into a Walmart table. That makes sense, yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay. Let me just run through everything we're gonna do. I need to grab some more molds for a couple of things. So I'm going to do a set of dice. I have these like solid red, they look like candy now that I'm thinking about it, but these solid red ones that are just blank. And so I'm going to put those into my dice molds, and they're going to have like some like kind of black shimmery resin coming up around them. Let me grab molds for all of these. So you said you're going to make dice. I want to know about your plans and stuff. Like, what do you want to do first? Or, like, I don't know. It's exciting. I'm just curious, like, what sort of stuff you're. Oh, and I don't need the D2. That's right there. So we have these. We'll have our black ink. I think I might actually do like black resin. I really should refill this at some point because I have a refill and this thing is empty. How are we gonna make molds off of a metal set you bought at a con? Oh, okay. That'll be cool. I'd still love to see like photos and stuff. Still love to see photos. It's definitely, dice are definitely fun to make. They definitely can be a pain to make. Like, I think I mentioned before, like, you can put as much or as little. Yeah. You can put as much or as little time and money into it as you want, I guess. Alright, just a second, let me toss this out. Oh, I have black ink on my hand now. I'm just debating if I want to, how I want to do this. I really should have got, so I got a refill of the white ink, and it came with a little bottle. My black refill did not come with a little bottle. I do have a little funnel though. Once you get good at molds and dice, you're going to design and print your own masters. Oh, cool. Yeah, I need to figure out printing my own masters. I have the Resin 3D printer for it. It's gonna be a pain. I think I'll figure this out later off camera when I don't feel as bad about making a mess. We're just gonna use a different black. Yeah, I have the Resin 3D printer for it. I need to figure out, I think after Christmas I'm gonna get myself some tin cure silicone. Because the problem is that with the platinum cure silicone, the resin for the Resin 3D printer makes it so that it doesn't cure properly, causes some cure inhibition with the silicone. So I need to figure out a combination of resin for the Resin 3D printer and silicone that will work together so that I can like mold my own masters once I print them. So that's where I'm at. I want to make like some I think some masters for some like Vampire the Masquerade D10s. Kind of want to do that, but I need to get things going for that. Like I need to get things figured out for that, I guess. Anyways, what I was saying here is we're gonna do these. Oops, wrong kind of D4. I need this kind of D4. Yeah, that'll work. All right. You sure that program? Yes. Yeah. So yeah. I was figuring I'd probably use that. My problem. I need to figure out the. the mold making stuff though. The materials, I guess. Materials for it. Okay, so anyways, this is going to be fairly simple. We're going to do these. It's going to have kind of like black coming from one side. I was thinking of adding a little bit of shimmer to it. I'm just going to get good at molds and dice first. Fair, yeah. For sure. Yes, I think I'm going to do maybe actual black resin, and then we'll do clear resin on the other side. I think I'll do black resin with a little bit of shimmer. And then we'll do clear resin. Yeah, that seems like a plan. So there's those. Put that off to the side. We have our tray here that I want to do just a red like layer to, because it's some of the little foil bits and stuff kind of stuck out, so it's a little bit rough. I'm tempted to put this back in the mold because it's not perfectly flat on the bottom, which is on me. My concern with this is that, so I was gonna I'll put it on the bottom of my 2-tiered tray thing, For this, I have like a thing to put 2 tiers of things into the pressure pot. My problem is that this, once I put it inside, like I never get it perfectly flat. I don't get it perfectly flat, and then it kind of like ends up kind of on one side. Makes a mess. But I'll just hope for the best, I guess. But yes, we're gonna do that. I'll just use the same cup that I've done things in the past. This is the same cup that I used for mixing up the stuff for that tray in the first place. So we'll just use that for red this time. Or I might end up just mixing red in with, like, if I need that I will. If not, I'll just take whatever resin's left and mix it up in the cup. I want to do a set that has a whole bunch of gold. And I'm just going to do, I think, just gold. So it doesn't really matter if those have the highest number at the top or the lowest number. I think we'll do it with the highest number at the bottom. Because that way if it sinks a little bit, there'll be more glitter and stuff at the highest number. Yeah, that makes sense in my brain. And there's that, and a D2. Yeah, I have little resin bits. Alright, there's our molds for that. I do need a mixing cup for that. Oh, this will work perfectly. This one looks like it was actually used to mix some gold things in there. So we'll do that. I've got a set of dice that I'm doing layers. I'll grab the D2 so you can kind of see what we've got going on here so far. Got kind of layers going on. And so I'm ready for the next one. I'll show you. I've done these 3 layers so far. We've done the green, the orange, and the purple with glitter in it. And then I want to do like a sea green, and then we're going to do kind of a reddish purple color. Reddish purple color we're not going to do today. We're going to do the sea green color. And that is this one right here. So that is just all we're doing there. It's just going to be that shimmery color. And then I'll do the purple in the last pour. This shouldn't take very much. I'm just doing a thin layer of it. I want the focus to be mainly on the green and the purple on the outside, just like a little bit of like layers of some sort of colors in the middle. All right, so that's gonna be that. And it really shouldn't take too much for that. I think things are. I'm knocking over my cups over here. All right, and then I need a container for my green. So this is the one over here that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do just half of it a solid green, and then I'm gonna do like golden stuff on it for like in a second completely separate layer. So it's gonna be kind of half and half. These are for I'm doing a collab with a friend for they make dice bags, and so we're gonna do a little bit of a collab. So I'm trying to make something that matches something that they already made. Which is fun. It's like a little bit of a, I'm like, how am I gonna translate this sort of thing? That's also what this gold set is for. I'm gonna try both with the green and then a set that's just gold and see what I like better. Because I don't know what I'm gonna like better. And then let's see here. What is left? I think that's everything. Let's get our little necklaces kind of put together a little bit. I do think I want to do a little bit of maybe blue. I want to do a little bit of blue with this. We're just gonna kind of stir in a little bit of that at the top. Let's see here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of sand to the bottom of this, and then we're gonna put a shell on top of it. How am I doing this? Look, I have a little tiny funnel. Let's try that. How much sand should I add? I need to figure out my... Just a little bit maybe, and because if we do blue at the top, that'll kind of add, like, it's not going to look super bare if there's that color added at the top. So I think we'll be okay with just a thin layer of sand and then the shell on top of that. Because I think that if there wasn't going to be the blue on the top, it would not really look super proportional, but I don't know if you can see or not. There you go. Yeah, so it's kind of down there at the bottom, but we're going to do kind of like some blue that kind of fades in at the top, and I think that'll work out well. This one, I want to put a whole bunch of like nuts and bolts and machinery type things in it, because I think that's fun. I got some random little metallic pieces from like watches or something. I think they must be from like watches or something. They're just all sorts of little tiny mechanical type things. I got some gears, and I'm going to put some of these in here. I'm going to put some of these flat pieces kind of along the side. And because I feel like they're going to be the hardest to see otherwise. You know, you're supposed to go on the side. There we go. Let me grab this. I think this is going to be the easiest to kind of press things into place. And I'm going to do that with a couple of gears as well. Just grab a couple of little pieces. This gear is broken. We'll do a broken gear. It's like missing a piece out of it. I'm just kind of pressing them into the sides. They're going to kind of stick there for now. Obviously, once I add resin to it, you know, they might try and sink or whatever, but I'm thinking because they're going to be kind of held in place with all of the screws and everything, so we're going to fill this up. So I think it'll end up working. And we'll add, that one's going to be a little bit big. I'll add a smaller one up towards the, That is a smaller one kind of up towards the top, I think. Oh, I could put it on the side, actually. I'll put it on the side up towards the top. That'll be kind of cool. Yeah, if I can grab it. It doesn't necessarily want to stay in place. And then let's grab maybe another little metal piece. Kind of interesting shapes and things. Kind of interesting shapes. I'm trying to kind of spread things out a little bit. But we're also kind of making it look random a little bit. And I think I need one more thing on this side, so let's grab another little gear, I think. I'll grab another little gear. Try not to drop them everywhere. And put one over on this side. Everything just fell to the bottom. Things don't want to stay in place. I might just add these as we go. I'm going to add like some screws, I think, and then I'll add a gear or something, and then hopefully that will help hold things in place too. So I'll just add a few little of these screws and things. Before I go and do one of these. Add another, yeah, no, that's fine. Some of these I might try to kind of place a little bit more. do want to kind of fill it in a little bit. Come on. I don't want to like have these so close to the side that they like push on the side, because that'll make it kind of rough. But I do want it to look like it's actually full of things. I don't want it to look like completely devoid and barren of screws, since it's kind of what I'm trying to fill it with. I want it to look like it's properly busy. Another gear over on this side. And yeah, I could use something right there, so we'll put that gear in a little bit further down. That's fine. Let's see, and I can actually fit some slightly larger ones in here, as opposed to the like smaller keycap that I did for my dad recently. So we're just gonna put that in. Try not to stab anything here. I do want to leave kind of a space at the top so that I can like drill in if I need to. I guess I won't necessarily need to, but if I add a little thing with resin. Trying to add another little gear here. Add some little tiny ones. Let's see if I can kind of show you what that looks like. So I'm just filling it with all sorts of, let me put my hand behind it. Filling it with all sorts of like screws and machinery type bits. Found it for a second there. There we go. Yeah, and I want it to look appropriately like filled with things. I don't want it looking barren, but I think we're doing okay. I'm gonna add a couple more here at the top, and I think we'll be good to go. I do worry that there's gonna be a bunch of air trapped, so I think we might pour this actually as one of the first things. This might be one of the first things that we pour. It's just so that there's time for air to escape if it needs to. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. So we've got both of these all set up and ready to go. Get these out of the way. Didn't get that lid on very well. There we go. Cool, got those, and then this one's just if we have extra leftover resin of some sort, I'll fill it up. Alright, cool. I think let's start adding stuff to our little mixing cups and we'll be good to go. So we'll start with our gold one here. I'm just going for all the different gold. So let's add a little bit of gold shimmer. I'm just going to do that by dipping it and then tapping it off in there, because we really don't want so much that it, you know, makes it difficult to see all the other stuff in it. And then I'm going to add some gold foil. And we could actually add quite a bit, since this is going to be kind of the focus. And we are trying to do about 30 milliliters of resin, which isn't a tiny amount. So we'll add a bit of gold foil. Yeah, we'll add it. Why not? But like I said, it's the focus. We want it to be full of gold. Full of gold. Ah, I got it! I got it! Alright, let me put that over here. And then I've got gold glitter. I'm just going to add a bunch of that. That was maybe more than I meant to add, but that's okay. And then I have this gold glitter too, which is a slightly chunkier glitter, which is why we're going to be, this is why I'm going to be pouring these kind of later. I'm probably going to pour these last, because I actually want the resin to start to set up a little bit before I pour it. so that it's a little bit thicker and it's harder for all of this stuff to sink. So we've got all of our different gold there. I don't think I have anything else gold that I want to add. I think that's good. So we're just going to do some very glittery gold dice. This is for our red ones with some black. I'm going to do black, but I think I want a little bit of a white shimmer. I want the black to be a little shimmery. So we're going to add just a little bit of this kind of macro pearl shimmer. Just a little bit. Again, I'm just going to tap it off in there. And then we'll add our black ink once we actually have the resin poured, because it's just easier to do the liquid stuff after you have the resin in the containers. Let's be real here. For our green one, so this set of dice here is going to be, we're just pouring half of them, half of it. Oh, I'm going to have so many things that are open. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how I want to put things into the pressure pot, because the ones that are open like this, that I'm not filling up all the way, I could put on the bottom layer, so I might end up putting some of them down here. We'll see. That might work out, actually. Anyways, this is going to be kind of a mix of these two greens. One of them looks almost black on camera, but it's a very dark, kind of bluish green. And we're just doing half of the dye, because I'm going to do probably gold or some different green or something like that as the other half of the dye. That's the plan anyway. I just think it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun doing dice that are half and half. It's one of those things where it's like it requires me to think ahead, which I'm not good at. It requires me to do some planning, and it's so much easier to just sit down and make something. That should be, so we're going to do about 15 milliliters of resin. Is that going to be enough pigment? I think it's going to be close. We'll add a little tiny bit more. And I want to add a little bit of the shimmery green as well. Set that off to the side. I'm going to add some of this as well, because that one's not actually shimmery, it's just a powdered pigment. This one is shimmery. And the green that I'm trying to match is kind of in between the two. So it works out that I'm mixing them anyways. I think that'll be good. Yeah, I think that'll be good. And then actually, let me set all of the lids for these off to the side now. Just because it'll be easier, I think, to set these off to the side and not have to try and deal with them later. So, also before I forget, because we're just going to fill that up halfway. Alright, set those off to the side. If I can pick them up. Yep, just set those off to the side. Those can be half of the green. This right here, I'm going to do about 5 milliliters of this shimmering sea green color, because I'm doing layers in. I'm doing a bunch of layers in a set of dice, and I only am going to do 5 milliliters. So it shouldn't take very much at all. I think that'll be plenty for 5 milliliters. If I need to add a little bit more, once I poured the resin in there, I can. So I'll set this off to the side for now. I think that'll be enough. It really doesn't take very much. I do want something to pick it up and put it in place with, because I'm trying not to splash too much onto the sides, because I do want layers if at all possible. I'm trying to get layers. So I think I'm doing pretty okay so far. It's getting layers. I have some dice here. Here, maybe I can get some ideas. I have some dice here Normally if I have like a little tiny bubble or gap or something, I'll fill it in with a little bit of UV resin. But quite honestly, I just don't like how the UV resin looks once it's sanded. Like, it never gets as shiny as the other resin, I feel like when I polish it and stuff. And so I was debating trying to fill in some little gaps here, and I actually cut away a little bit because things were a little bit funky. I cut away a little bit. I was thinking of filling it with the 2-part resin, but I don't have as much control with that. I might just do these with UV resin at some point. I think I'm just going to do these with UV resin at some point. I'll do that off camera. But I'll set those off to the side for now. They got some little spots on them that just need filled in. Okay, is that everything? I think that might be everything. I think I'm ready to go. I have a spare D20 here and a spare like keychain mold type thing or necklace mold. Let me grab some more tea. And then I think maybe we're ready to pour resin. Oh, before we do that, actually, let me just clear out a mixing cup. Oh, come on. I need something to mix my resin in, so let me get a mixing cup. I am so bad at keeping my workspace clean, let's be real here. I just pile up all of my dirty mixing cups and then clean them as I need them. Probably not the most efficient way to do things, but it works. And I'm lazy. So let me flip this inside out, pull off any big droplets of resin. And then we'll take some packing tape to it. Because that is what I've found to be the easiest way to pick up all the little resin bits. This tape is interesting. You can't even see, but I tore it off strangely a little bit ago. Alright. That's good enough. So I may or may not stream on Saturday. If I do, it's probably going to be something super chill, since it's Christmas on Saturday. If I do, it'll be later in the day, probably be in like the afternoon or evening. I don't know if I will yet or not, but yeah, if I do, it'll probably be playing Minecraft or something like that. It depends on how I'm feeling. I feel like, so my family usually meets up for breakfast on Christmas. We are meeting up for breakfast, but, and then usually things are kind of chill the rest of the day, I feel like. So, depending on how I'm feeling and what I decide I want to do. Probably won't be any, like, work things, which sounds weird, but this is work things. Probably won't be any, like, resin stuff. If I do it, it'll probably just be Minecraft or some other video game of some sort. Something that's just for fun. I mean, this is for fun, but just for fun. There's a lot less planning required, I feel like, with video games. Depends on what you're doing. I feel like there's always a little bit of planning that's required. I actually find it easier to do the dice than, like, video game type streams. Partially just because I feel weird doing video game streams, because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing arts and crafts. That's what I do on Twitch. But I feel like there's less planning needed there. Like, for these, I want to figure out kind of what I'm making before I actually get on the stream. I need to make sure my workspace is somewhat clear. You know, I usually come down here half an hour to an hour before I stream just to make sure I have everything set up. Just make sure my workspace is clear and I can start pulling out some of the things that I know I'm going to need. like molds or pigments, or, you know, I put away pigments from before that I used when I last poured resin. Whereas with, when I'm playing like Minecraft, I can just go to my computer, make sure Streamlabs is working, make sure the game's working, and, you know, hop on. But at the same time, I find it almost more difficult because planning is slightly different. I want to have some sort of reason to stream, I guess. Like, there should be something that I'm actually doing that's somewhat interesting, I feel like, for people to hang out and watch. And, like, I feel like with Minecraft, there's definitely plenty of things that aren't interesting to watch. One of my favorite things to do in Minecraft is just mine. I like just going mining. But I feel like that is not the most exciting thing in the world to watch. It's just like, oh yes, we are digging underground. That's calming to watch. That's fair. That's fair. I think that's why I like doing it. Like, that's, if I'm like in a bad mood, and I'm like, I want to play Minecraft, if I'm in a bad mood, that's what I want to do. I want to just go dig. I think because it is kind of just chill. It's like I don't have to worry about anything. I can just dig, and then every once in a while I find like a little treat. It's like, oh, I found me some coal or whatever. So that's fair. That's fair. Let me make sure I have a stir stick for this. That'll work. That does make me feel a little bit better about it though. Okay, I think I have everything ready to go now. Let me grab my safety equipment. Equipment? Equipment. 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 I can't talk. Alright, gloves. Respirator. It is going to get a bit muffled for the rest of the stream. So if I say something and you have no idea what I said, feel free to ask me to repeat it. But I am going to sound like this. I think I need to get new canisters for this. So it's starting to get a little, I think they're starting to get a little used. I probably should replace them more often than I do. You're supposed to like replace them after every like 30 hours or something like that. Which I definitely, yeah. I should, wait, let me think about this. 30 hours. Let's say that let's say I do resin for 5 hours a week. Okay. So that's about every month and a half I should be replacing these. I don't remember when the last time I replaced these. I probably should get new canisters. Anyways, let me grab the resin and we'll get that all poured. Alright. Here's part one. I am going to go a little quiet here for a second because I can't pour and talk at the same time, or I will make a mess. So I'll be right back. Back in just a moment. Hopefully that wasn't too much. Here, just a second. Yeah, I think we're fine. Alright, and the hardener. Oh dear. Yeah, alright. I think we're good there. I think we're good. I may have added a little bit too much hardener, but if I did, it's just a little bit. So I think we'll be okay.
while we stir things. Oh, so does anybody have any fun holiday plans? Like I was saying, my family usually meets up for like breakfast, which is what we're doing this year. But we'll meet up for breakfast and have like all sorts of breakfast foods, and then all gather around the Christmas tree and exchange gifts. And then usually the afternoons are like chill, messing around with whatever we got, or doing a puzzle, or I think I will actually take Christmas off. Like, I'm very bad at actually taking time off, because I'm like, okay, I need to be working, but I think I will probably actually, I just said that. I'll probably actually take Christmas off, and I was literally just talking about how I might stream that day. I do enjoy streaming. Man, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't stream. Maybe I should not stream on Christmas, just because I should actually take some time off. That would probably be the smart thing to do. We'll see how I feel, though, like I said, on Saturday. Depending on how I feel. Maybe we'll play some Minecraft or some other video game. I should take some time off. Man, yeah. I've told this story before. I don't know if you were here or not, but I worked full time. I had an office job that I worked at, and I was working full time, and I was going to school part time, and then my schedules didn't line up, and so I quit my job to go finish my bachelor's degree. 'Cause I was burnt out, anyways. I was burnt out from working full time and going to school part time for a few years, and not having any free time. But anyway, so I quit my job, and there was a span of like a couple of months in between when I quit my job and when I actually started going back to school. And I realized pretty quickly that I had completely forgotten how to relax. Like, I just could not figure out what I was supposed to do with myself. Because my brain was just constantly like, you should be working right now. And I'm like, I don't know what I should be working on. I had to convince myself to go do a jigsaw puzzle. Because mental health in these times is something we should all focus on. Oh, I know. But, like, I gotta make a living, too. That's the thing, like, I'd love to just make stuff. But, like, I have to actually, like, make enough to sell and then figure out a way to sell it. I got bills. My mental health's a lot better than it used to be, though. My mental health is a lot better than it used to be. I am so much happier doing this than being in an office job. That's why I'm back into my mode of I need to figure out what I'm doing. My constant. I'm back to my monthly existential crisis of what am I doing with my life. But part of that is just because I really enjoy doing what I'm doing now. I really love making things and like getting to interact with everybody, and like the selling stuff is like it's a hard thing for you to focus on as well. You don't like to feel like you're not doing anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think some of that, I don't know if you're from the US or not, but some of that is like, I feel like there's a big push that everything you have to do has to be productive in some way. And I definitely am in that mindset now where I don't have time to do things for fun. I can only do things that make me money, which is really annoying. It's a really annoying mindset to be in. It's like, I want to just go make fan art and YouTube videos for fun, and it's just like, I don't have time for that. I need to pay bills. So I need to focus my time and energy on things that will help me pay the bills. But yeah. But also just like, yeah, I don't know. It's that whole, the art of doing nothing, I guess. Yeah. Like I said, that 2 months where I was like, I don't have any responsibilities right now, and I don't know what to do. It was just like, I don't know how to relax. I can tell that if I was in the same situation again, I have forgotten how to relax again. Because I can tell that I'm stuck in that rut yet of I need to be doing something productive right now. The curse of entrepreneurship, yeah. Yeah. The hustle, or what is it? Yeah. But I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to turn hobbies in general into businesses now. Like, if you can draw, you should be taking commissions. If you can, if you're making anything, you should be selling it type thing. I don't know. And to be fair, like, originally I kind of ended up here because I tried making soap. I started making soap. And the problem with making soap, it's really fun to make. The problem with it is you end up with so much soap. Because, like, the smallest amount of soap that I could make was 10 bars of soap at a time. And I'm like, what am I going to do with 10 bars of soap? And so I started selling it a little bit. Just, like, at a local bazaar once a year. And I added some to Etsy, didn't really sell much. I sold it mostly to, like, family and friends. And then I was not planning on selling dice. I debated with myself so much on whether I should get masters made or not for dice. Like, I debated so long with myself because I'm like, they're expensive. I'm never gonna sell them. Why do I need my own logo and stuff for them? Like, what's the point? And then I went and got them made anyways and started making some dice for friends and family and stuff. And then everything's just kind of snowballed. But I don't know. Yeah, it's... Oh, yes. The life that we live. Alright, it's almost mixed completely. There's a few little streaks left. So let me just scrape the sides. How much cat DNA are in these dice? Shh. No one needs to know about the cat hair, okay? No one needs to know about the complimentary cat hair in every set of dice. Oh. I'm not seeing any cat hair in here. That wasn't actually cat hair. That was a flake of, like, some other color, like, resin that had just fallen in somehow. It might have come off of this stir stick or something. Alright, let's see how this is looking. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find cat hair in something later. That was right before I started streaming. My brother came home from running some errands, and the cat was just so excited that he was home. So there was a cat that was trying to get in here. I think I drag a lot of the cat hair in here on my sweater. So I can definitely see cat hair on my sweater. I think that's probably where it comes from. Alright, this is looking pretty good now. Let me just scrape this off, and let's see if there's any streaks in here, because that's kind of how I tell if it's mixed all the way or not. If I can see like any difference, any lines or the lights refracting differently, it's a pretty good indicator that part A and part B are not mixed completely, but it's looking pretty good. Let me scrape the sides one last time and the bottom. And the bottom. And let's see if there's anything. No, I think we're completely mixed. So let's start kind of divvying this off into things. I'm going to start by putting just a little bit into the thing with the screws, because I know it's going to take a while for resin to get down in there. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's going to take a minute. Hi, Mountain Tree. Welcome. Good evening to you, too. I'm trying to get some, I filled this with a whole bunch of screws and mechanical type things. And now I'm trying to get resin to go down in here, which was perhaps a little bit of a mistake to do this like this, but And well, we'll let this sit for a minute. We'll let things start to sink there. I'm going to add a little bit of resin to our ocean one too, so that it can start sinking into that sand. Alright, and then let's start divvying this up. Is the dice making cooperating? It's going alright. I've just started. I just finished mixing my resins. We're going to start divvying things up into all of my little cups here. So I'm going to do about 15 milliliters of this. This is just a green. It's kind of a mix of a couple different green pigments. A shimmery one and a kind of dark bluish green one. I'm just going to do half of these dice greens. So we're going to do about 15 milliliters. A full set of dice is about 30 milliliters of resin. Doesn't have to be exact since I'm not filling this up completely anyways. Alright, about 15 milliliters there. Let's see what I want to do next. So this one's going to be about 30 milliliters. I'm just doing a whole bunch of gold in here. And so that's going to be about 30 milliliters. What am I at on my mixing cup though? So let's go down to about a little bit below 60 milliliters. It's about 55 milliliters. It's in 10 milliliter increments, so I'm trying to estimate here. How much is that? That's about 60. Let's add another. Yeah, I think that's about right. This is the one that we're going to do probably about last, because I want all the glitter to float. And so if I put the glitter, will try to sink. If I do it while the resin's still really liquidy, it'll all sink. But if we wait until the resin's set up a little bit and it's a little thicker, it hopefully won't. This one I need about 5 milliliters. We're doing layers on this one. This one's got a whole bunch of layers of things. And so we're going to add a little bit of our blue here. Not very much, but about 5 milliliters or so. Alright. Doesn't need to be exactly 5 milliliters. I think that's enough. What do I have left? I have this set over here. So this set, I don't think I need very much here. I'm going to do kind of like a black around these just solid red ones. Just kind of wisping around it. So let's just add a little bit of resin here. Maybe also 5 or something like that. I'm going to add our black ink to that, make some black resin. It has a little bit of shimmer in there as well. I want this to be nice and saturated. A good dark black color. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I want it to be nice and dark because it's going to be kind of wisping up into the clear. That's the goal anyway, and it's got a little bit of shimmer to it, which is perfect. So let's pull these out. Let's do these now. So these are a whole bunch of blanks. So there's no numbers or anything on these. They're just a solid red color. And so my plan here, I've got the highest number at the top. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of black into the bottoms of all of these. And then we're going to put these in and add clear. And then all the black should kind of like wisp up around it a little bit. Is that dark enough? Add another drop of black. I don't want to add too much or it can make it so that the resin doesn't cure quite right, but I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's good. And I don't need to be particularly neat about this or anything. We're just going to add a little bit into all of these. I want to kind of get enough to kind of cover the bottom. Let's see here. D4 shouldn't take very much. Just a couple drops there on the D4. And then our D2, I'm going to add some on the kind of like one end here. And then we'll add the clear and kind of swirl that one manually. Let's see, do any of these need more? I think the D6 maybe. And then the D20 and the D12 probably could use a little bit more, since the D20 takes so much more resin than everything else. Add a little bit more to the D12. And yeah, let's just use all of this black. I'm actually going to put a drop of it here on the lid to make sure that that stays kind of black at that side. Yeah, I think that'll be good. This one could use a little bit more. Alright, so let's add these in. So our little blanks. I'm going to try and put any of the rougher sides down into the black area because those will be harder to see anyways. So I'm just going to kind of squish these in here, like that. And then we'll put clear on top. I'm going to do this now while it's still fairly runny so that it can actually get in there. And make sure that the clear gets in there. I don't want any like big gaps on the side or anything. I might actually, I'm wondering if I should add a little bit of clear before I even add a little bit of like clear to some of the sides here. I'm going to try adding a little bit of clear to some of the like spots in here that I worry won't get any otherwise. So like the 6s and stuff, they have like those kind of circular areas. And sometimes if no resin ends up in there, it can cause some problems. So let me try and get those filled in. A little bit of clear. 8 over here.